Hey everybody, welcome back to This Week in Vegas History. Just a quick programming note before we get started. The program will be preempted by other Vegas content for at least the next couple of weeks. So just keep that in mind. We'll do a special Rocktober Vegas weekly program for next Wednesday, and then we'll be on hiatus during my trip. Today we're going to talk about the beginning of the Las Vegas Strip, both historically and geographically. If you joined us last week, we were making our way down Las Vegas Boulevard. Did you know Las Vegas Boulevard was just called South 5th Street until 1959? It's true. Well, we had reached to Sahara Avenue. And one of my listeners pointed out that we hadn't mentioned the Bonanza gift shop. So let's briefly mention a couple of things on the corner of Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard. And one of them is the Bonanza gift shop. It has been the Bonanza gift shop since 1980. There has been a shopping center there for many years. And there have been numerous businesses, small shops, newsstands, an adult bookstore, and a number of small casinos in that space over time. It has pretty much been entirely the Bonanza gift shop since the late 90s. It proudly declares itself the world's largest gift shop, and at 40,000 square feet, it probably has some claim to that title. If you've ever stopped in there, there certainly is a lot to see. If you cross the street over to the east side, currently there's a Walgreens there, but there is some history. At one time there was a deli on that site called Fox's Deli. Later it was purchased and renovated and turned into a casino that was expanded out to the corner of Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard that was called Foxy's Firehouse Casino. That was there from 1976 until 1988. It closed. The space was obtained and renovated into the weirdest themed casino of the 90s. It was called Holy Cow. It was both a casino and a brewery. There was no hotel on site. It was certainly hard to miss as you drove up and down the Strip. However, many people chose to miss it. It closed in 2002. For a brief time, Ivanka Trump had an office there. Shortly after, it was demolished to make way for another fabulous Walgreens. Your drugstore needs are always met in Las Vegas, and if you need any other drugs, there's also a dispensary just right next door. As you cross Sahara Avenue, and it used to be called San Francisco Avenue until 1963, so the street was named after the hotel, not the other way around, you see the massive Sahara Hotel complex. It began life as Club Bingo way back in 1947. It was closed and remodeled into a full-fledged hotel. It opened up in 1952 as one of the largest properties in Las Vegas. Over time, they would erect 3 additional hotel towers, but it was simply not the best of locations as the years went along, and the original Sahara closed up shop in 2011, only to open up a few years later as SLS. Well, that property didn't quite make it, or didn't make it as well as they had hoped. It was sold to the people who also own the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno and was rebranded as the Sahara once again, just recently. Sahara Hotel remains a fixture on the Las Vegas Strip, and it'll be interesting to see if they can make a go of it this time. If you cross the street to the west, you'll currently find a vacant lot. It's been a vacant lot, more or less, for many years, but it was the site of the original resort on Las Vegas Boulevard, the first hotel on the Strip. It was called the Rancho. It opened up in 1941. It was quite the deal in its time. It had kind of a Spanish Western-style theme. They came up with the very first version of the Las Vegas buffet. They had a showroom which featured fabulous entertainers like Jimmy Durante. Everybody loves Jimmy Durante, right? Well, El Rancho was pretty successful for a number of years until the casino and showroom burned down in 1960 under somewhat suspicious circumstances. The property reopened as like the El Rancho Motor Hotel for a few years in the 1960s before closing down. Howard Hughes owned the property for a time. Bob Stupak wanted to acquire it to create a Titanic hotel and casino at one time. That also fell through. Part of the property became what is now one of those Hilton Grand Vacation Resorts. There's several towers there that you can purchase or rent out by the night. The northern end of that property, where you see the vacant lot, now owned by Phil Ruffin, was for a number of years owned by MGM. They briefly used it as the site of the Rock in Rio Festival, which I think only happened once or twice. We will see if that site gets redeveloped as something, but for now it's simply a memory of Las Vegas's very first resort. So as you can see, we're doing a very, very quick show today, but I think we packed a lot of fun information in there. So hopefully you learned something about the Las Vegas Strip, or the beginnings of it. When we come back in a few weeks, we'll continue to work our way south down the Las Vegas Strip, tell you a little bit about some of the other properties that once stood on that site and some which do to this day. Appreciate everybody tuning in for our program. We will see you on Saturday and next Wednesday for Vegas Weekly. We'll see you in Las Vegas in just 10 days. Until then, I hope you have a historically great week. We'll see you soon.